Alrighty traders, George here, and time for the week in review. There's a lot of important stuff to get through. Make sure you watch this entire video. There's some real important information to be had, and the whole reason you're watching this video is because you need guidance. Alright? There is a red zone market upon us. This is something that I've been talking about in the live room for the last 2 weeks, so it's not a surprise to any of the folks in the DST course. But I'll tell you what, it's a shock to a lot of traders. And what a red zone market is when the range expands and the market speed expands greatly from where it has been, and it is hazardous for day trading especially. So what it does, what do you think it does? It magnifies people's problems. So there's always a rush for help when we hit a red zone market. You could set the clock by it. And that's what's happening. So all of you day traders out there, there's crazy volatility. You're seeing stops get taken out. You're responding emotionally, you're moving away from rules, risk control, your losses magnify, and all of a sudden, in 2 or 3 days, you've seen more losses than you've seen in 2 or 3 months. Some of you have seen your accounts go down a lot, or seen a lot of gains that you've made eroded. And this is what happens. It's the great equalizer, okay? Doesn't mean that you can't survive, if not thrive through it, though. And the whole point of the DST program is to get new repetitions into your system so that you can follow what we look at in the live room. The DSR model for day trading, the balance beam for position trading. That's it. No fear, no fundamentals, no other charts, no other mad scientist add-on stuff, none of that, okay? Got to really be forceful with you guys to keep you on point here. For day trading, this is an issue. I'm a human being. It's an issue for me as well. I'm not saying that I'm not exempt from it. I'm just saying that the conditions are such that they need to be respected, and they certainly are not being respected by a majority of the traders. For what I'm doing on oil, 7 hours Tuesday through Thursday, I was flat after commission there and a relatively low win percentage. That's really indicative of the red zone market. We're getting huge moves. London session, pre-market, contraction for a couple hours in the morning. That's pretty much to be expected. That's just Tuesday through Thursday as well. The mini Russell fared a bit better after commission, doing over 600 bucks. Still a relatively low win percentage for me there, but that's what I saw, right, for 7 hours, not Monday or Friday. So able to be mildly profitable. However, where we're seeing that contraction in the early morning, because of the red zone market, the position trading is through the roof. Taking you guys to the August 10th setup, the trade of the week that I highlighted was this phase 4 move going below 16,220s for a 450 point move. And that's exactly what happened on this breakdown. If you haven't watched this video from the 10th and the follow through, make sure you watch it. The price action, the call that I made here, you're not going to find anything more significant than that anywhere in the market. And it's all driven by what I see on the balance beam. So it's a learned skill. The recap video I did for this 450 point move here, as I'm doing that, a new long setup. And as it started to grow, I decided to show that in the video. And here is a shot from that video that just came out on Wednesday. This was a long building with price moving over 15,950, and that would get us up to 16,139s. Okay? Where do you think we're going if we get over 16,139? Go back to that last chart. Here's how we build belief. There's the floor that we broke down from. What happens if we take over the floor? Probably going to fill to the ceiling. 16.5. So there's your targets 2 and 3. Here's the same chart, Friday at the close. Exact same chart I used for those 2 videos and setups. There's 15,951, 190 points easily hit there for target 1. Talk about a catalytic response at a balance beam. Look at that power candle pushing right through it. Where do you think we're going next? 220 resonates as support, and then we filled to the other side. We actually trade over 16,500 there. So this follow through, absolutely incredible. This nice long side call just happened again. So picking up some huge moves in the futures markets here on the balance beam model. Intraday for a couple hours, a little bit choppy there in the morning with the volatility, but I'm telling you what, these huge moves I've been showing you guys on the balance beam, unbelievable. This is 737 points entry to swing high here. For those of you guys that are trading the balance beam, just use your ruler tool and you can go ahead and do that. It's a great way to tag price moves. So what's a red zone market? How do you know that you've got one? Here's what I look at. This is the S&P futures here on a 480-minute chart. I'm using the stock ATR indicator here, average true range. the takeaway here is that we've been trading with a maximum range of about 25, 24 points, right? We absolutely blast through that prior area of resistance, if you will, and that is indicative of the red zone market. Where it really comes is when you drop below a heavily traded zone. Look to the left. What exists below this level here? Not a whole lot, right? So there is basically a huge air pocket of trading commitment below this upper register. Now that could play two ways. If it's recovered, the bulls could fill it to the other side, and over that level they could go on a nice breakout. However, if the bears trade below this level and they have a big air pocket to play with, that's not a surprise, right? So that range expansion will come in strong bearish corrections to bull markets or in outright bear markets. The range always picks up, the market speed always picks up, there's always more volume on these sell-offs. The more volume doesn't mean anything. It's irrelevant. It's talked about as being relevant. It's not, okay? We'll talk about that more in the live room next week, but take away this from this video. One, we've got the red zone market. We talked about it before it happened. It showed up. We're ready for it. Position trading, absolutely crushing it on all markets. Gold, oil, the equity futures, unbelievable moves there, and all of that predictive analysis and anticipating where it's going to happen showed to me and all of you guys that are balance beam traders by the balance beam model. The next thing is day trading. That can be more challenging. How do you handle it, right? Everybody wants to know, what do I do? What do I do? I'm seeing all these big moves. Well, the first thing is, if you're losing money, stop trading. The second thing is, if you're trading and handling price in a manageable fashion, but you want to reduce your risk, reduce the number of contracts that you're trading. The other thing is that you could look for trend re-entries. All right, now what most traders do initially is they'll expand their stops, and this is what is the sort of the conventional wisdom, and all the testing that I've done, that's not the right tool for the job. That's not the right tool for a red zone market. If anything, you want to look for re-entries and expanding your targets rather than expanding your stops. So those are a couple things to consider for the red zone market and day trading. We know the follow through that we saw on the position trading was through the roof. You've got a little metric here to gauge visually what's happening when we see expansive ranges in the market. The other thing is that with this kind of action here, this magnifies problems, all right? So if you've got a problem with your trading here, what do you think is going to happen when the range gets like this? You're going to get fried. Your account's going to get busted. You're going to give up gains that you may have acquired somehow. Ultimately, if you're not trading based on rules, if you're not trading based on what you see, you're going to get into a big problem, and the red zone market is the ultimate magnifier of that. And what happens then? Everybody wants to get help, so I get a lot of emails, and that's almost like you could set your watch by it. So the whole point of watching this video is to get some belief to change your behavior, all right? Whatever your behavior is in the market, it's not good enough to keep you from watching this video, right? So you're here because you need some help. All of a sudden the ego defense gets in the way and says, no, I don't need the help. Well, let's face it, if you're watching this video, you need some help with the process. If you look at the videos that I've done sequentially showing you setups on the DSR model for day trading, the balance beam model for position trading, the moves are repeatable, the setups are repeatable, the profit is consistent, long-term, month to month to month. There's enormous opportunity to be had by following the processes that we have on these models. That's the whole point, is getting your rotation to happen in your trading so that you can move from what you've been doing to being consistently profitable over the long term. I set all this stuff up with advance warning, with like setups that you've seen over and over again, so there's no doubt, there's no question that the setup was shown in advance. There's no doubt that the visual is the same visual that we looked at last month and the month before and the month before. This builds belief. It becomes very difficult to try to break it down. It's just a matter of time before you have to tap out and accept it. So the red zone market, it can do wonders for the position trading. It's definitely an issue for day trading. It's one that you should respect greatly. We're going to talk about this a lot more next week in the live room. So use the link at the bottom of the video, hop in the room, take a deep breath. We've got a new week coming up. We've got Labor Day weekend. This is a great time to spend 2 weeks working on learning your setups and signals when you sign up for the DST course. You're going to get all that kind of information to get you on the right track. That way you can hit the third week of September with absolute confidence, knowing how you're going to trade the market and knowing how you're going to respond in the future, right? That's what traders don't know. They don't know how they're going to respond in the future. DST clients do. Massive distinction right there, to know what you're going to do in the future based on what you see. All right, gang, so I had to be pretty forceful with that one because of where we are, and there's no kid gloves to be had when we have these sorts of conditions here in the market. Congrats to all you DST clients following your rules. The position trade stuff has got to be real rewarding after putting in the work. All right, that's what it's all about. So have a great weekend. We'll see you all back here in the room next Tuesday.